It has been an absolutely wild morning in the NFL, and unfortunately for me as well. So it seems like I'm going to be able to get you guys all of the crazy news updates from today, but in reverse order of when they come out. Starting with this video on DeAndre Hopkins, where we got some pretty surprising news in regards to the All-Pro wide receiver. Now, before we get to the content, on the 15th of May, I'm going to be announcing a giveaway winner to 2 individuals that follow me on Twitter for $250 each. On top of that, I started live streaming again on twitch.tv/TF Mikerophone. Now that we get all that out of the way, Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Arizona Cardinals have been one of the most intriguing storylines in the entire offseason. There was never a point this offseason where we were not talking about the Arizona Cardinals, whether that had to do with the fact that Kyler Murray checked himself out of the Arizona Cardinals finale versus the Los Angeles Rams after getting absolutely smacked by the Los Angeles Rams, to the fact that Kyler Murray wants a contract extension and scrubbed his entire Instagram feed in order to attain it. And for the most part, that was the prevailing headline over the offseason. Yes, you heard rumors of like some very tense meetings with Michael Bidwell and the Arizona Cardinals front office, and even that was a rumor that Ian Rappaport inevitably denied. As time went on, one would have to assume that Kyler Murray is now very pleased with the Arizona Cardinals, primarily because they traded for his former teammate Marquise Hollywood Brown on draft night. On top of that, they used their first selection of the 2022 NFL draft on a tight end, Trey McBride from Colorado State. And between Trey McBride, Zach Ertz, AJ Green, Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins, you have to admit that this Arizona Cardinals team sounds like a lot of fun. Well, once 6 games go by anyways, because we just got some breaking news in regards to DeAndre Hopkins, something that is very surprising to me, to say the least, that none of us really saw coming. And allow me to explain. You see, DeAndre Hopkins didn't necessarily have the best season in regards to staying on the field. Unfortunately for D-Hop, he would miss week 9 to 11 of this year's NFL season with an ankle injury. Now, this ankle injury became a little bit more severe during the final 4 games of the regular season because he would suffer a MCL injury on week 14 during Monday Night Football. This would be very unfortunate because this was a game against the Detroit Lions, and it kind of gives you an idea of why the Arizona Cardinals traded for Marquise Hollywood Brown, because it seems like Kyler Murray struggled mightily once DeAndre Hopkins went down. And unfortunately, DeAndre Hopkins was going to be out for the remainder of the season. He would miss weeks 15, 16, 17, and the Arizona Cardinals Super Wild Card Weekend game against the LA Rams, where Kyler Murray had a very bad time. Now, you might be wondering, okay, Mike, why are you rehashing the past? What is the relevance of this? Well, DeAndre Hopkins had to undergo surgery to repair his MCL. Now you might be getting an idea of where I'm going with this, because according to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, Arizona is losing DeAndre Hopkins to a 6-game suspension. It lost Christian Kirk to Jacksonville during free agency, and it adds more insight into the Cardinals draft day trade for former Ravens wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown. Now, let me be honest with you guys. I am not going to hate on the Arizona Cardinals for not bringing back Christian Kirk. The amount that the Jaguars paid Christian Kirk was so insane that it literally disrupted the wide receiver market. I mean, no joke, Devontae Adams saw that contract and got a crazy deal from the Las Vegas Raiders. Tyreek Hill saw that and got a crazy deal from the Miami Dolphins and was willing to disband from Patrick Mahomes as a result of that. And then Stephon Diggs got a huge contract extension as a result of it. Deebo Samuel demanded a trade because of it. AJ Brown got traded from the Titans to the Eagles because of it. I mean, it completely disrupted the wide receiver market. So I'm I'm not going to hate on the Arizona Cardinals for not bringing back Christian Kirk. I 100% understand, and I think their contingency plan in place of that was very brilliant. Honestly, you have to think that the Arizona Cardinals probably knew what was going on, because the reason why DeAndre Hopkins got suspended kind of makes sense and pertains to his injury, because DeAndre Hopkins got suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's PED policy. Now, you might be thinking, wow, Mike, why would DeAndre Hopkins want to take steroids? He doesn't need to get bigger, does he? Well, here's a common misconception about PEDs. It really depends on what sport you're playing. There's various PEDs that make sense for various different sports. Now, I'm not Derek from moreplatesmoredates.com. He goes way more in depth on this, but pretty much the best way I could explain this to you is the PEDs D-Hop was probably taking was so he could speed up his recovery process from his MCL injury. As you get older and older, your body's ability to recover from serious injuries like this are a little bit less. It's a little bit more difficult. So DeAndre Hopkins is going into his age 30 season. So it kind of makes sense why he would need to lean on such a substance in order to get back in tip-top shape for the NFL season. It makes sense why he would do it during the off season as well. So hopefully maybe the NFL wouldn't notice. Typically it's a substance that doesn't come up in these drug tests that the NFL assigns, but unfortunately for D-Hop, he got caught. Now the Cardinals clearly knew what was going on, and they also acknowledged the fact that Kyler Murray wasn't the same QB when DeAndre Hopkins wasn't on the field, which is understandable, man. When your game plan was practically flowing through the Kyler Murray D-Hop connection, it's very difficult to replace that type of production. I mean, if you look at Kyler Murray's statistics, the night that D-Hop went down against the Detroit Lions, the Cardinals lost to the second worst team in the entire NFL. As a matter of fact, they lost to the Indianapolis Colts the week after. They beat the Dallas Cowboys, but my Dallas Cowboys are trash. I'm just going to be honest. We're really not good at football, especially towards the tail end of the season. If this was the beginning of the season, I'd be saying something completely different, but it's my team, and I'm going to be honest, we're horrible at the end of the season. They were also unable to beat the Seattle Seahawks, who weren't even a playoff team. Then they got absolutely slapped by the LA Rams. So it was difficult because this is actually a huge reason why Cliff Kingsbury gets some heat from Arizona Cardinals fans. He was not able to adjust towards the end of the season and try to make up for the fact that DeAndre Hopkins wasn't on the field. Now, the addition of Marquise Hollywood Brown is supposed to make things a little bit easier, because Marquise Hollywood Brown already has that familiarity with Kyler Murray. Whether DeAndre Hopkins is on the field or not, Kyler Murray and Marquise Hollywood Brown share a special connection going all the way back to their days at Oklahoma. So one could assume that during the first 6 weeks, the fort is going to get held down with Kyler Murray's connection to Marquise Hollywood Brown and having Zach Ertz on the field, Rondale Moore, in addition to Hollywood Brown and AJ Green. I would say that the Arizona Cardinals are okay moving forward. Now, ultimately, as a result of this video, I hope you guys can understand why D-Hop possibly did what he had to do. It wasn't necessarily a I'm trying to get bigger thing. The NFL is very harsh on these types of things. It's more the fact that he wants to get back onto the field as soon as possible. He took something for his recovery. You're not allowed to take that kind of substance for your recovery, and he got hit with a 6-week suspension. So let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys think about all this, because ultimately I feel like the Arizona Cardinals handled this situation perfectly. There's a contingency plan in place, and I think Kyler Murray might be better off because of it. I think it'll really help him in the beginning of the season to go 6 weeks without D-Hop, and then you get D-Hop back in practices, D-Hop back onto the team, and that combination with Hollywood Brown should result in a very lethal Arizona Cardinals offense, at least for the remainder of the season. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.